All right. Can you guys see me? Hi, everybody, and welcome to another Molo9 live Q&A session. Um, today we are discussing, wait, there we go. We're discussing this book. Give me 1 second. Some of you are having trouble seeing it. Give me 1 second. Copy link. Okay. Oh, okay. Yep. V's got it and sharing it. Thank you. Best wing woman ever. Okay, so V has a lot of questions which cannot be answered via text, which is why we are back in here, even though it, anyways. All right, so first thing he does here, something that I like / don't like about this book is that he makes the complicated things sound easy, but he also brushes over huge concepts really fast, so you don't realize that you should be paying attention to them. So he's like, yeah, an agency's brand has a name, a logo, color palette, typography, and it also has a personality. And he tells you a lot of how they did things and not necessarily so much diving into exactly how you should do things with multiple examples. It's the example of his company, or that's it. Um, your name, something that you definitely want to do is you want to have something visual in the name. So Molo in South African dialect means hello. South Africans travel all, they're one of those, they're one of those populations that travels everywhere. You will find South Africans everywhere. So the word molo, which means hello, you'll hear it used as a greeting in lots of different countries around the world. I could not get hello 9 for obvious reasons. The English language is way too popular around the world. So getting an English word in the name is not always the easiest way to go. I usually pick Italian words. Like when I launched this one fashion brand, we did Stella di Moda, which is the star of fashion. And you can find, it's easy to find things that are visual in other languages. But if you want to stick with the English language, you want to look at things like numbers, fruit, vegetables, animals. You want something visual in the name. When I had a marketing agency, we called it the $1 million pineapple. So we had a few different words in there that were all visual. So we had pineapple and we had $1 million. I would not recommend going with a name that long. That was many years ago. So we didn't really, we were just looking for a name that would be easy for people to remember at the time. And now I would go with maybe a 2-word name, not a 4-word name. But do you guys have any questions about naming your agencies, or should we move on to color palette, typography, and all of those things? I've been doing a lot with typography lately because of the book launch, so that's fresh in my mind if you want to ask questions about that. Happy holiday! Ethan said happy holiday. Yes, happy Valentine's Day. My kids are excited because there is yet another holiday that allows them to break their no chocolate rule. And I'm sure that they will not be sleeping for the next 5 days as they eat all the candy they got at school today. So, yeah. Oh, you're asking questions in Telegram. Okay, sorry, I had my phone down. Okay, V had a lot of questions. Let's go through these. Okay, what's an RFP? They talked about it in the book. Okay, so an RFP is a request for proposal. What that means, and this happens a lot, and I also try to avoid these. I avoid them in a different way. I have case studies, and then I have the prices or budgeting both listed on the website, so people can look through and they can see everything. A request for proposal, these are a nightmare if you're not at a large agency. Essentially, what it is they're asking you to tell them exactly how much the project will cost, how long it'll take you to do it, what you're expecting the results to be. They want a request for proposal is they want you to explain to them what you've done in the past, how you're going to do it for them, how much it's going to cost, and how much time it's going to take. So if you are in a super niche like he is, he was saying it would take him months. It probably wouldn't. It's probably something he could crank out in a day or two. After you've done several different projects, it's something that you can crank out pretty quick off the top of your head. The first time I would go over to ChatGPT and I would ask it to help you put together a request for a proposal. Keep in mind, this book was written before ChatGPT. So you would go over to ChatGPT or DeepSeek or one of the other AI tools. You would say, write a request for proposal, give me a timeline, give me a budget, give me this. I have ChatGPT write mine, and then I go through and I edit. The other nice thing is that ChatGPT, because it's getting data from so many different people, and DeepSeek, you can say like, what's normal to charge for this project, and it'll give you a range that's normal. Or I asked it the other day, I was looking at repackaging how I do consulting. I was like, I put in my bio KPIs, like I've achieved this, people want this, what should I be offering as my packaging? And it put together several different packages that were really good. And I was able to adjust mine based off of that. So that's what a request for proposal is. Next, you said, V said, the way of deciding on a brand name as outlined in the book is very different from what you teach. How would you comment on this approach? I recently had an experience with a client. I pitched 2 names who made it through your process. The task was to pick one, but the client went and took part of a suggestion and created a new one, in my opinion, not fitting. So first of all, that made me feel like a devaluation of my work. Secondly, I believe I can only advise them, right? How do you cope with this? So the way that I cope with people not taking my advice is you keep a record of what they decide to go against. So if they'll say, thank you so much for the suggestion, we're going to move forward this way, I then send an email and I say, hi, just for my own internal company records, I need to keep a written confirmation that I made this recommendation and that your team decided to go with this path instead. So that later, if the results are not what we expected or agreed upon in the beginning, we have this record to remind us that one of the steps we would have needed to take to get those results was not taken. So I cannot continue to work towards a specific result because we did not take the steps needed to get to that result. And when people, sometimes they look at marketing and they don't understand there's like a very specific strategy in play. They don't see how all the puzzle pieces fit together. So you kind of have to just put it, if you frame it that way, and then they are like, oh, not choosing that name is going to impact the speed of customer adoption. I didn't realize that. I thought I just had to pick a name I liked. Then they'll take a step back and they'll take your recommendation. One specific project that I work on a lot is building someone's public image, what they look like before the public, so that they can be easily adopted into a certain subculture. This is a very hyper niche need. And so I had someone recently who said, I am trying to break into this unique subculture. It's a very cutthroat, very specific industry. And I said, okay, yeah, I know how to do that. So we're going to do this, 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 this. And they were like, yeah, no, I don't want to show up to that event. And I was like, every single one of the biggest decision makers in that industry will be at that event. He's like, yeah, I don't need to go to that. And I was like, then you don't really want to break into that industry, because it's not just about us making sure that when they Google you, you look prestigious. It's also a two-part approach, right? So I had to say to him, hey, you wanted this outcome. This is how you get that outcome. If you don't follow this process, you will not get that outcome. It's completely up to you, but you will not get the outcome that we both agreed you wanted if you don't follow the steps. Um, okay, your next question was biggest brand misstep was at the beginning, assuming we'd be a full service agency. So I'm confused. Um, he did focus on PPC, but claims previously that to focus on one niche can be effective as well. Okay, I'm a huge fan of focusing on one niche. If you are a full agency, the way that I originally built Molo9, what happened was I had a real problem with people poaching my talent. And so it was like, you know what? I'm going to make everything that I use to train junior marketers to join me. I'm going to make it available to the public. And then I'm going to find top performing junior marketers among those that I trained. And I'm going to have them work for me in like a beehive sort of in community. So you guys have access to my playbooks. When I need a branding project done, do you think I'm going to Upwork where I'm going to get someone, have to teach them a bunch of things, and then I'm going to hire them? Or do you think I'm going to the Molo9 community and saying, hey, which of you guys want to do a branding project? This is the scope of the project. This is the budget. What do you think? So him and the way that he approached the full agency, I agree. And he even had a horror story in there. I would be very careful with promising a client a bunch of different things that you cannot deliver without first finding someone to fulfill them. But you guys have the Molo9 community. You know that every single person in the Molo9 community has access to my same trainings, my same guides. So you know what you're getting. When you hire someone to do a branding project for you, you know, hey, they were trained by a D. They have a D's playbook. They're going to follow her playbook to implement. You know what you're getting. You know who you're hiring. So you can, on the front end, say that you're a full service agency, but in the back end, you're outsourcing the coding to Andy. You're outsourcing the branding to V. You're outsourcing all the humor and whatever else to Ethan. You have different people in the Molo9 community that you know. I highly recommend being niche in your specialty. But when someone comes to you and they want another project done, you know that you have people in the Molo9 community that you outsource it to, that you white label. I absolutely think that you guys can do full service agency, and behind the scenes, you're white labeling to each other. You're outsourcing to each other. Okay, so let me see. The next thing, do you ever pitch your services? If so, in what situations? Oh my God. I love this question. I've had people say, pitch yourself to me. And I say, if I need to pitch myself to you and you didn't do research on me and you asked for this coffee, but you know nothing about me, then I'm at the wrong table. I shouldn't be here. I don't have time for these games. So if you would like to work with me and you know that I have broken multiple records around the world and you're ready to do that at your own company, I would love to work with you. If you want to play this little pitch myself to you game, I'm good. I don't need to do that. I don't play games. I don't have time for drama. I don't have time for stupid games. And I'm not going to beg you to work with me. You can find, if you want someone that's going to grovel at your feet and beg to work for you, you can find 1,000 people like that on Upwork. And guess what? They're going to give you garbage. I don't pitch. No. If you want to work with me, if you're a gladiator, if you're a titan and you're focused on your goals and you're ready to hit them head on, let's go. If you want me to do like a little dance and pony show, no. My case studies are online. I know what I bring. I know the value I bring to a table. And I know that when I get up and walk away from that table, they say they're going to replace me. They have yet to do so. They don't. And yeah, I go very quick from being like calm, funny, kind to no, we don't play those games, because I don't play those games. My time is super limited. All right, your next question. I want to call it Voctopus. It has octopus and my name V, but choose the number because one. Um, I would call it Voctopus and not make the O a 0 because that's gonna be confusing, and people are confused and busy and stressed and under a lot of pressure. So, you can I would go with Voctopus with VO. I would not go with Voctopus with V0, or do octopus with a 0 at the front and not octopus with an O at the front. But I definitely like the octopus idea. I think octopi are amazing. They're super smart animals. There's so many funny stories about them. I'm a huge fan. Um, okay, and then your next question, Andy's question is, my understanding is pitching is more like speaking about your client's problems, what you offer, and how their life will look after they use your product or services. Yeah, that's not pitching. That's more of sales isn't supposed to be you sitting there and telling people why they should work with you. It's supposed to be you figuring out if you can help that person. So what I would recommend you do, or Voctopi. Yes, of course, Ethan would come in with Voctopi. Yep, that's another one. So sales isn't supposed to be you talking at people and telling them why they should work with you. It's supposed to be you conversing with those people and figuring out what their problem is and how, if you can help them. Um, Next, let me just say this really quick. Logo, you want it to be something that's easy to remember and easy for them to Google. So Andy said, Adi, we are on the same page. Yes, yes, we are. A lot of times. We're like fraternal twins from another life. Um, so with the logo, you want it to be something that's easy for people to remember. A blue lion, or something that's easy for them to Google as well, because someone might remember your logo, but they won't remember you. So you want them to be able to go to Google and type in digital marketing agency blue lion and be able to find you. Or digital marketing agency purple octopus or green octopus and be able to find you. So whatever you choose for your logo, make it something that people can type into YouTube, into Google to search to find you later. Your color palette, colors are super psychological and they vary from country to country. So in one country, a certain color will mean power, and in another country, that same color will mean danger. And in one country, the color will mean royal, and in another country, it will mean something entirely different. So you want to look at what the psychology of color is for the region where your target market is. There are a lot of companies that try to expand from, for example, India to the United States, and they want to go for European born Americans. They don't want to go for Indian Americans as their target market. So if you're going to do that, you have to change your colors. But if you're an Indian company expanding to the US, we have a really high population of Indian Americans that you can keep all your branding from India and market to that demographic in the United States. But if you're trying to go for African Americans, European Americans, Asian Americans, you have to look up what the colors mean to them culturally before you just send all of your marketing material to target a new demographic, a new region. Okay, next. Personality needs. I totally agree with this, that the personality of your brand needs to be an extension of your of who you are. There are a lot of people who get burnt out and they get tired because they have to continually try to be this version of themselves when they're in public that is not the same version that they is not cohesive with who they are as a person. And there are certain attributes that you will change in your personality over time, but there are other attributes that if you, for example, this guy, he said he's into old cars. So that's something that he likes to talk and connect with people about. You don't have to hide that part of yourself. There will be a few different things. He said he connects with his customers about different emotional things because his agency thrives on trust. That's completely true. he talks about what was it? It was cars and a few other things that he's a fan of. You want to with your personal brand, you want to find things that other people like to talk about. So, for example, Andy, you're Asian American. There's a huge percentage of the American population that is Asian American. So if you were to specifically target working with Asian Americans on their brands, that is something that you could come in and connect with those people so much faster than I ever could. I was at an event the other day, and there was a fund, this fund manager there who just he wrecks it. He's like absolutely amazing, and some people were trying to like control the narrative between the two of us instead of just letting us like chat and connect and figure out how to work on some partnerships together. And I found out he was Jewish. And so we started talking about specific things that are only relevant to Jews. And the people that were trying to insert themselves into the conversation and control the whole flow, they were quickly on the outside of the conversation because they couldn't hold their own in that. And that's how I was able to earn his trust and get some time to speak directly with him. You have to look for what your competitive advantage is, where you can bond with people in a way that other people can't. So instead of saying, "Oh man, I'm an Asian American and I'm trying to earn the business of the Russian Americans and it's really hard." Don't. Leave them alone. Let the Russian Americans all work together. We love each other. You go find the Asian Americans that we can't break into that circle the same way and go run that race. Go network with them. Go connect with them. There are certain things that are very specific to subcultures that are your competitive advantage when earning trust, when building relationships. And you want to leverage that with the personality of your brand. So I would I would accent those things rather than trying to hide them. Okay, sorry, my shoulder's out. Yeah, the shoulder always get injuries. Okay, there we go. So a small agency thrives on trust. Um, what else? Oh, in this one part, he's talking about how he said no to a $12,000 contract. You don't have to say no. You can do referrals with your friends. So I very specifically like to go in and get a team of junior marketers that might have infighting or might not be performing their best and train them. I stick Molo 9 with them and I teach them how to use it so that they can upskill quickly, but they also learn how to meet specific goals quickly. That is a very, very specific niche. That's my niche. When people who don't have the patience for junior marketers or don't like working with them find themselves in a position where they're supposed to do that, they know that if they call me and give me that deal, that contract, that I'll give them a 10% referral. But they also know that the thing that's nice about going niche is that everyone's your collaborator and no one's your competition. If you are a full service agency, everyone else in marketing sees you as competition. So the size of the pool of people referring new business to you is very small. There was this one woman that I tried collaborating with on a few things. It was just so stupid. No matter what any marketer said they do, she would come back and say that's literally all she does. So social media marketing, that's all she does. Training junior marketers, that's all she does. Web design, that's all she does. Lead magnets. There are 125 different customer acquisition channels out there. There are more than 2,000 different marketing specialties out there. No matter which one you threw at her, she would claim that's what she spent all of her time doing. If you look at this book, he tells you that people who try to do everything usually churn out garbage. And that's literally what happened. She would claim that she knew how to do everything and she did nothing well. And people would say, like, this is such trash. And it was because she was trying to be all things to all people, and you can't. You want to be known as the high quality person who produces something high quality consistently, even if it's a niche. If you're going to say you're a full service agency, make sure that you're bringing the best of the best in to do each thing for you. And you have referrals for that. You can either white label their work or you can take a referral fee. Any other questions on referrals or white labeling? You love whose confidence? Oh, the confidence of the woman who said that she could do everything? Yes. Okay, so for those of you just joining, we use Telegram for the Molo9 community. We are a very tight-knit group. We have a lot of fun, and we use Telegram for our communications because not everyone wants their comments to appear in the chat when people replay this later. So then they ask it in the Molo9 Telegram group. I remember the sales trainer told me, do you want to be a specialist doctor that treats everyone or just a very narrow patient? Okay, okay. Yeah, it is one of those things. You're wanting to focus on it's better to be a specialist that focuses on treating one problem than to claim you're a generalist. Yes, you make a ton of money as we're not supposed to curse on YouTube. You make an F ton of money as a specialist. Um, and that's why it's very, very beneficial to go niche. Very beneficial. If if you're too broad scope, then you're competing with everyone. If you're a specialist in a niche, um, then everyone's wanting to outsource to you. Everyone's wanting to white label what you do. And the more demand you have, the higher remember supply and demand. The more demand you have, the higher you can put your prices faster. All right. Okay. So V asked, she said, so obviously that's BS when this woman was claiming she was the best at everything. Yes. But how can I have a reputation with a full service agency outsourcing? So I claim that I offer the best branding, but also offer other services with specialists. Yes. So what typically happens is you get a client through branding or through SEO. You get a client through one project. They love working with you because you only work with people that you enjoy working with. So they love working with you. Then they want to work on this other complicated project. They know they need it done because they read some article online. And then they ask you if you know how to do it or if you can refer them to someone else. So your answer could either be, yes, I'd be happy to refer you to one of my trusted contacts, and you refer them to someone in the Molo9 community, and you get a referral fee, or you can say, yes, we actually just brought someone onto our team that specializes in that. And then you white label their work. If you are new to this and new to white labeling and referrals, it's easier to start with referrals. And then when you're referring a lot of business to, like, let's say you're referring a lot of business to this SEO person, excuse me, then you would turn around and say, hey, you know what? I'd actually like to start white labeling your services. Referring works if you're happy with taking 10% of the contract. If you know that this person that you're referring business to charges $12,000 for their SEO project, and you found someone who's willing to pay $20,000 for that same SEO project, you're going to white label it and take $8,000 for commission for the introduction. You're going to white label it, and you're going to be in between, and you take the $8,000. The Molo9 project portal, I don't remember if any of you bought access to that, but that one really helps with white labeling versus referring, because with those projects, you assign specific people to specific steps in that project, and the client has view only access. So they are able to view they're able to view the project in your dashboard. It took a ton of time to code this so you guys could do this, so you should use it. The project portal, you can make it into an iframe and you can embed it on your WordPress website. So your client goes to your website and they can see their client project. They can track the progress on your website. And it's pulling from Molo9's project portal. So then you have on Molo9, you assign your employees to complete that project, and they're working on it. And then the client goes to your website and they see the tasks being checked off. They see the deliverables being uploaded. But the reason I did it that way is so those that are helping to implement cannot see who your clients are, and your clients can't see and contact those who are helping you to implement it. Because originally we had it where you added everyone to the same project, but then one of your specialists might not be so nice and try to take your client from you. That's why we now have it as a double layer. So one layer is on your website and the other layer is on Molo9. All right. What other questions do you have about this book? What else did he say? I didn't really have too many notes on this. I don't know. Like, be who you are. There's not really a lot of noteworthy things on this. He tells you about setting up an LLC. Oh, you're good? Okay, so V is good. If anyone else has questions, put them into Telegram or put them in here. Otherwise, as some of you know, this week's a little bit hectic because I'm on the speaking tour next week. The next session I will have to schedule with you guys when I get back from the speaking tour because it depends on how many things blow up while I'm out of town. Okay, cool. Andy's good, V's good, Ethan, are you good? And there's someone else tuning in. I don't know who you are, but you can go to, if you're a Molo9 software user, you can go here. You can ask your questions in the chat if you're a YouTube subscriber. Anyone else that's watching this recording later, if you did not send your questions in, that's why they weren't answered today. You're welcome to email them to us at some point in the future. You're amazing. Ethan's amazing. Of course, he's always the outlier. All right. So thank you for everyone tuning in. Just a quick reminder, your questions, when we have these live Q&A sessions, you either email them to my team and I get to see what they are and we answer them as like when we kick off. That's best for those of you who cannot attend these live. Then we also have people ask questions in the chat. You have to be a subscriber of this channel for at least 5 minutes to do that. That has severely decreased the amount of trolling and bots that we get because we get to see who you are commenting. And then we also answer the questions that are in the Molo9 Telegram channel. You do not have access to this unless you are a Molo9 premium user. If you bought AppSumo's, the deal we have on AppSumo or any other deal that we have, you get access to the Telegram channel. Thank you all for tuning in. I will see you online in a couple weeks. We usually try to do these live Q&A sessions every other week. Next week, I have to travel for a speaking tour through like several different states, not just like one place. So when I get back from that, we will figure out when we're putting our next live Q&A session on the calendar. Okay. It's great catching up with you all. Happy Valentine's Day. Have a good one. Bye.